What's up, y'all? It's your man, Brandon Tyler. I wanted to come on here and make a video, and this will probably be in some form on both YouTube and TikTok. The long form video that you're watching right now, you're obviously watching it on YouTube, but what I'll probably do is, after I'm done with this video and watch it back, I'll probably create a summary version of the video with all the main points for TikTok. I was gonna clip the video for TikTok, but the way my streams of consciousness go, that's probably not gonna work. Speaking of which, this is also practice for me. So if I pause for a long time, just kind of let the video run, or you can fast forward it. I would suggest you be doing something while you're watching this video. There's a term that I heard over a decade ago from a YouTuber called Gimme a Flake Man, and it's called laundry video. So I think this will be a laundry video, meaning that this is the type of video that, you know, you could do your laundry, you could be cooking, you could be doing some type of work on the computer on another tab, whatever the case may be, right? Gaming, whatever, and listening to this video. And honestly, I love laundry videos. It's probably my favorite type of content. So we'll see how this goes. I might start making laundry videos, and laundry videos have made a comeback on YouTube as well. So I'm really excited about that, okay? But anyway, the gist of this video will be as follows. Don't defer when and where you shouldn't defer. And you don't have to have done everything perfectly for your stance or your opinion or your actions to be valid. Okay? And these are all lessons that I'm learning that hopefully somebody out there can relate to, or someone out there could be helped by it, or someone else out there can be reminded of what they already know, or whatever the case may be. Okay? So let's get into it. For the last couple years, I've really found just life in this society, or in society in general, to be, this stand is not the best. But I've found life in this world generally to be very backwards, right? In society, if you will. For example, like, you know how, like, if you're at work, it's like the people who are the loudest and always trying to take the lead and always trying to, like, you know, be the loudest voice in the room are always the last people who should be doing that. Like, it's always like the dumbest people who are doing that. You know, meanwhile, it's like the smartest people, or the people who should be, like, speaking up and taking the lead, are the people who, you know, like me, who just kind of like fall back. But that applies to, like, everywhere in life. I feel like things are so backwards in the sense that if you're a kind, hardworking person in modern society, it's like that works against you. But if you are, like, evil personified, and you're this backbiting, you know, just person with no integrity and no intellectual curiosity or anything like any of those virtues, then it's like you thrive, right? One thing that has kind of been a revelation to me just say it. And it sounds really simple and obvious, but a way to kind of like reverse that backwardness on a micro level, like with your own personal universe, is like, for example, for somebody like me, to stop deferring to people you should not be deferring to in situations where you should not be deferring at all. Okay? Let me give you an example of what the latest example of what I'm talking about. Right? So I'm in grad school, right? And we're in summer session or whatever. And my professor gave us this assignment, this group project, or it's not even really a project, it's just like this group assignment for this week. And the instructions are kind of convoluted, but it's understandable enough, and I read it a bunch of times. And so I reach out to my group mates via email, and I sent a very nice email, like, hey, I'm your group member. Cops pulled somebody over here. I get distracted whenever I see them, because I don't really like the police. But anyway, that just threw off my whole concentration. But anyway, I sent an email out like, yeah, I'm your group member. I'm open to completing this however you guys want to. Get back to me, let me know. So it's me, this lady, and this man that's in the group. The lady reaches back and is immediately trying to take over. And I wouldn't mind that, because I don't really like to take over stuff like that, but I wouldn't mind that. But it was just like, this lady completely did not understand the assignment and was trying to do not only too much, but trying to do something completely different than what was said in the instructions. And so old me would have just kind of been like, whatever, I'll go along with it. The professor's probably gonna give us an A anyway. It's the way the program is, it's as long as you pretty much give an honest effort, they pretty much give you the grade. So the old me would have been like, whatever, what I'm saying, I'm not even tripping. I'm missing my exit. ADHD, y'all. But I'm gonna get off the next exit. But it's good. It's gonna give me more time to talk, even though I'm gonna sit in the parking lot when I get there. But anyway, so I'm like, okay. So what I did was, I went into DeepSeek, which is kind of it's like a Chinese large language model, or Chinese chatbot, AI chatbot. It's in English, but it's from Chinese developers, DeepSeek. So I go to DeepSeek, and I copy and paste the instructions to the assignment in DeepSeek, because I'm like, okay, maybe I'm tripping, because that's my first instinct on everything. Is okay, I'm probably the one that's wrong. That's my first instinct on everything, even though that's totally not true. So I go to DeepSeek, and I'm like, okay, I copy and paste the instructions to the assignment, and I ask DeepSeek, explain to me in simple terms what my professor wants us to do. And it explains it, and it's exactly what I had read and reread 3 to 4 times. It's exactly what I thought it was. And then I copied and pasted in the email exchange, and I asked DeepSeek. It's another cop. Damn, the cops are out here today. But and then I asked DeepSeek, who is understanding the assignment here and who's misunderstanding the assignment here, because there's a disconnect. And The only thing that DeepSeek said that I had wrong was the one part in the email where I was trying to be nice and compromise and like kind of go along with a little bit of what she said. And that's the one part of my email that DeepSeek said was wrong. And it pretty much confirmed as far as her email that, man, there's a lot of cops out here today. But it pretty much confirmed as far as her email that like she had it completely wrong. So I messaged back something, again, being really nice, like, hey, you know, based on my understanding of the instructions, I'm not sure that we have to do all of this X, Y, and Z that you're saying. It appears as though we have to do, you know, A, B, and C, whatever, and whatever. But like being really nice about it, and I forget exactly what else I said, but I was just being like kind of really still really nice about it. And this morning I get email from the same lady that's in my group, and then also finally the guy in the group. So the lady was like, oh, she pretty much sent me an email pretty much like either she didn't comprehend what it is that I wrote, or she just straight ignored it and just started writing her own stuff and kind of like still trying to direct traffic in the assignment. And then after that, the guy who's in our group finally responded, and I thought I was gonna get like some backup, but the guy finally just responded and pretty much was like following the lead of the other lady, like, oh yeah, you know, like, you know, what so-and-so said, like, sounds good, like, let's do that, or whatever. Mind you, in the email, he said that he didn't even read the assignment in depth yet. Like, he's like, oh yeah, I don't even like look at these assignments until Wednesday. I haven't read it in depth yet, but yeah, what so-and-so said sounds good, let's do it. Like, stupid, right? Like, dumb. But so then I go back to DeepSeek and I put the entire email exchange in there, and I said, look, this is the email exchange. What should I do here? Give me a second to park. Y'all are taking a ride with me here. I might actually, once I finish this little part of the video, I might chop it here and then go in here and run my first errand and then come back. I'm gonna try to make these videos with as little cuts as possible. Back when I started making YouTube videos, like back in the stone ages of YouTube, my videos always had a bunch of jump cuts because I was trying to edit out every mistake that I made. Now, I'm gonna try my best to have little to no cuts. Like this video, I wanted to have no cuts whatsoever, but like I said, I might just go in here and run my errand real quick and then cut the video back on. I know you're not ice grilling me. This dude ice grilling me. These people in Connecticut, like these, like no shade to like anybody, but like these people in Connecticut, like I grew up here, but I don't think I understood like just how racist this place is. But anyway, anyway, ADHD, I'm all over the place. Okay, but anyway, I asked DeepSeek, what should I do here? Like, should I get the professor involved? Like, that's what I asked DeepSeek. I'm like, look, here's the email exchange. Here's what group member 1 said. Here's what group member 2 said. Like, should I get the professor involved or whatever? And so DeepSeek tells me, like, look, respond with this exact script, and if it's still a problem pretty much, then, you know, talk to the professor or whatever. So I pretty much used the script, not exactly, I changed some stuff, but it was pretty much like more of a stern thing of like, okay, look, this is what we've been asked to do. You know, I softened it even a little bit still, because like I really be trying to like give people more respect than they deserve, which I gotta stop doing. But I pretty much, did that, and I pretty much did the part of the assignment that I agreed to do, which was more than I should have done, but I was still compromising just a little bit. And I just sent the email off, and I just did the piece of the assignment that I did a piece of assignment that I agreed to do or whatever. And I haven't heard anything back yet. That was like earlier today. Like this, it's like, what time is it now? It's like 3:00. That was like this morning. I still haven't gotten like a response, but I mean, I did my part of the assignment, so honestly, it's whatever. Like, it's on Google Slides, so I think you can go into the version history and see who edited what or whatever. So if it comes down to it, like, whatever, like I did my part. But the point is that the old me, like I said, because with this program, they pretty much will give you the grade as long as you like make an honest effort. So the old me would have just went along with this lady, because I just don't want the aggravation of going back and forth with people. But no, like, no, just no. So let me go in here and do my errand real quick, and I'll be right back. All right, we're back. All right, errand number 1 is done. I got 2 more to go. So yeah, that was the story, and I didn't tell the story like perfectly, but that goes to another point. The other point, main point I was gonna make, is that letting go of the need to be perfect, and it is all connected, so even with the grad school group project situation, it's like I felt like I needed to perfectly know every single word of those long convoluted instructions and like read it countless times, which I did, before I even had the right to push back against anyone. And I'm still working on that, right? But like in my gut right away, I knew what it was. It's just that I just had to like quadruple and quintuple and sextuple and septuple check everything. And I always have to have all my T's crossed and my I's dotted, right? And I know where it comes from, right? Where it comes from in a lot of us, right, is like this deep childhood thing, right? Of always being over criticized, right? And not even just in childhood, but like even in adulthood too, because it becomes this self-perpetuating thing. But it's like always being over criticized, even when you're not wrong, right? So like ever since childhood, like that's typically been my experience. Whether it's my mom, who is like the 5-star general of over criticizing, whether it was my teachers growing up, who had this smart black boy in their class that they didn't know what to do with, right? Whether it's whoever, and then that leaks into adulthood, because now it's like this self-perpetuating cycle. And because I'm always deferring where I shouldn't defer, like I deal with the same foolishness of people being like that towards me, even though like they shouldn't have the right to, just off the strength of not only basic humanity and decency, but just off the basic fact that like these are people who typically I'm smarter than, more talented than, more virtuous than in so many different senses. I mean, it sounds arrogant, but it's just I call it like I see it. That's just one thing about me. Like I call it like the way I see it. Like the truth is the truth, So yeah, I think the need to be perfect is like this thing of if I haven't done everything perfectly and crossed every T and dotted every I, then I don't feel like I have the right to like assert, you know, because someone's gonna like poke holes in it or whatever. But, you know, now I'm at the point where I'm just like, okay, you know, so what? The only thing about that is, and it's funny because I had this conversation with my therapist yesterday, and like I'm just now like really internalizing this, even though she's been kind of telling me this in her own way for a long time. But she was pretty much telling me like the same thing that I'm telling you now, even though like I was pushing back against her, because, and my pushback was that like my nervous system is just not like equipped to always just be going back and forth with dumb people all the time. Like my nervous system is just not equipped for that, you know, because my nervous system is so fried from so many years. Oh my God, you could have taken that light. But yeah, my nervous system is just so fried that like even when I do like stand my ground and stuff, like it just like people are like, oh, like doesn't that feel good? That feels good, right? Like I'm like, no, it doesn't. Like it doesn't, because it's like my nervous system is already fried, and now like my nervous system is gonna be like really on the fritz for like the next 2 days. Okay, you got the green light now. Like, what is this lady in front of me doing? Oh my God, that's another thing about Connecticut, is that these people cannot drive. Like these people cannot drive. Oh my God, oh, I see what it is. You're in the left turn lane, but you're not even turning. Oh my God. But yeah, so what was I saying? ADHD, y'all. ADHD. See, this is the long pauses I was talking about. But yeah, basically bottom line is, you know, oh yeah, the thing about, you know, my nervous system, right? Yeah, so my nervous system is just so fried, like I don't even be having it in me, like to be able to just muster up the ability to like be going back and forth with these people, you know. But something that I think also she's trying to tell me, but something that I haven't really been able to execute as well, is like, you know, not letting it get to a certain point. So for example, like usually when I go back at somebody, it's usually to the point where I've been pushed and pushed and pushed long enough to where you're gonna get that other side out of me, or I've been backed into a corner where I have no other choice. And the funny part about it is that when I do come back at somebody, like it's nuclear, and it's like I'm taking no prisoners. I'm taking no prisoners. You know what I'm saying? Because you should have left me alone. You know what I mean? But I don't like to do that. You know what I mean? Like I don't like to do that, but like I will lay the smack down if I have to. And I've had this conversation with my therapist too, and I've told her like pretty much I only have 2 speeds, 0 and 100. Like that's literally like the only 2 speeds I have. But of course that's not like healthy per se, you know. But I think a big thing that is gonna help me with this, and y'all might think this is silly, but you know, if you've been on my TikTok, you know I've talked about this. This is a way, this is one of many ways that AI, large language models, can be used for good. There's a lot of ways it could be used for good. This is one of them. This is one of the ways it could be used for good, because a lot of the times it's like I feel like I'm the one that's tripping, and it's like if I don't have like, and especially if it's like multiple people, like, you know what I'm saying? But when I had DeepSeek kind of confirm everything for me, I was like, okay, I know for a fact I'm not wrong here. You know what I mean? And it reminds me of when I first got a smartphone, right? Or matter of fact, I'll take it back even further, right? When Google first came out. I mean, I'm old enough to remember when most people used Yahoo as their search engine instead of Google. But, Google, right? Like, Google gave you the opportunity to, like, look up stuff, right? But even taking it a step further, because, Google, I mean, I started using Google when I was probably still in high school, like in the early 2000s. But fast forward it like a decade, I didn't get a smartphone until like 2014. I was holding out. I was a holdout on the smartphones, and I only got a smartphone because I was in Japan teaching English and I needed to get around, and having a smartphone was the only way I could really get around. But that's neither here nor there. So when I first got a smartphone and was able to just look things up in a mobile way, just wherever I am, because I have this computer in my pocket, I feel like that's when I just stopped arguing with people altogether. And I remember a very specific example of this when I did this with my uncle, who I love. But I did this to my uncle one time. I remember this. This was years ago. This was so many years ago. And it might have been in 2014, like late 2014 maybe. And, we were at like a bar or something, and with like some of his friends, and like they were talking about, like, I don't know, traveling or something like that. And somebody was brought up like Spain, and then like people were bringing up like, oh yeah, like this country is also near Spain, like you go to Spain, you could also go there, this is like near Spain, whatever, la la la. And I brought up like, oh yeah, Morocco, Morocco is like right across the water, whatever, la la la. And like my uncle, like with his whole chest, is like, Brandon, Morocco is in Africa, like Spain is in Europe, like they're not, like it's not close together, like they're like, Morocco's in Africa and Spain's in Europe. I'm like, I know that clearly. Like, I'm a social studies teacher, I know that. What I'm saying is that they're, it's separated by a little bit of water, and I was trying to explain verbally how the geography works out, and he's not trying to hear it. Like, that's typically, like, when I try to like argue back with people, that's typically how they do. Like, I could be 100% right and they still act like I'm the dumb one. It's again, backwards. I literally just went on my phone, punched up a map in Google, and just put the map and put my phone on the bar with no words. From that day on, I swear, like, I very rarely argued with people from that day on. Like, you know what I'm saying? So large language models, AI chatbots, take that a step further, because this assignment that I had with my grad school, that's not something that you can just like Google, because it's like an original assignment from my professor. But with the AI chatbot, such as DeepSeek or ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude or whatever, you could do exactly what I did, which is put the instructions into the chatbot, and also put any interactions that you had via email or whatever, and let it make sense of it for you. And even if you already know what it is, you could just confirm that right then and there, like I did. So yeah, I'm really not about to be arguing with folks now. I can't wait to use this stuff at work. Honestly, because at work is where I get the most of this, like, gaslighting from people who are dumber than me, respectfully. Like, I like every single day, like I'm treated like the dumb one, but it's like a bunch of people who are way dumber than me, treating me like I'm the dumb one. So yeah, like I'm gonna be a menace in the upcoming year for many reasons, but yeah, that's that. So yeah, I mean, pretty much again, the basic gist again is like never deferring where you shouldn't defer, and not feeling the need to be perfect in order to be valid, right? And I'm really gonna continue to work on that, and I have been working on all of that, honestly, but now it's like I really feel like I get it on a deeper level, and it's like, yeah, like why should I defer just to keep the peace? Like, because that's always been my thing of like, my thing is I always want to keep the peace, and the thing is, the crazy part about it is, before like a few years ago, because like the whole energy of everything has really shifted. There's like a detour up here. What in the world? See, this is like a mess. They've been working on this same road construction for months now. And they got the nerve to have a detour now today or whatever. But see, that's the Matrix sending distractions to me, so I can't really do this video because, man, every time I get into a good point, I get like distracted. Forget what I was even saying. And then, you know, it's summer, you know, the fine women are outside. So yeah, it's a lot of distractions. But we must stay focused, brothers and sisters. We must stay focused. Peace and Pan-Africanism, peace and Pan-Africanism. That's my brother Umar. That's my brother Umar impression. Dr. Umar, excuse me. That's my Dr. Umar or whatever. Oh man. But damn, I wish I was in the middle of getting to a really good point too. I wish it'll come back to me. Let me find my place where I'm going first and go in here and park. I'm gonna go ahead and park a couple minutes and wrap up this part of the video when I get parked. And then I'm gonna run my second errand inside of here. There's a lot going on out here today. I thought I was still going out early enough in the day for it not to be like a whole lot going on, but there's a lot going on out here. All right. This parking lot is so like disorderly with the way it's set up, and then the way folks drive in here too. Let's park here. You know, I like to back in. That's my jam. Need to straighten out. Yeah, I was trying to give this lady a chance to go before I really did my thing here. Very meticulous about my parking. That's like something like a little thing that I harp on a lot. Because, you know, I just don't want anybody to hit my car mainly. That happened to me once when I was a teenager and I worked at CVS, and my manager came inside one day and was like, "Brandon, come outside, come outside." I was like, what happened? He's like, "This guy hit your car," and I'm like, you know, I'm like holding him here, just come real quick, you know, because I don't want him to leave. Like I held this guy here who hit your car. Yeah, and it was like this truck, like this big red pickup truck. This guy had hit my car, and he was gonna leave. Like if my manager wasn't there to catch him, he would have most likely left, because that's the way my manager kind of made it sound. And so yeah, that was like ever since then I've always been like super meticulous about like, okay, I gotta park like kind of far enough away from both cars if I have cars on both sides, or I gotta try to park where it's like gonna be less likely for somebody to like hit me. Because what happened was that, like, you know, I was here, the truck was here, you know, my car was here, the truck was here, and then as he's pulling out, he hit my car through no fault of my own. I was parked correctly, but it's just like, you know, he clipped like the front of my car and damaged my bumper or whatever. So I get really conscious about that. But anyway, yeah, I forgot the point that I was making when I went into the construction zone, but I know it was a really good point. Basically, just to wrap this up before I go inside, like, you know, AI can be used for a lot of good. Oh, excuse me. And yeah, I'm just, yeah, I'm gonna use all the things I have to my advantage to like not have to like defer to stupidity anymore, you know, because I'm better than that. And that's I think one of the main things that I'm finally getting through my head of, like, I don't always have to be the so-called bigger person. I don't always have to so-called keep the peace. Because, like, typically, you know, especially if it's in a situation where I'm the one that has the knowledge, I'm the one with the ability, the skill, the talent, the whatever, then I should not keep the peace, as a matter of fact. And I should not defer in a situation like that. It's just that for me, it's hard, like, for my nervous system to even like muster that a lot of the times. But, you know, I am working on it. I am working on it. And you know, it's just something I always have to remember in the back of my mind. Like, yeah, no. Why should I defer just to keep the peace? You know? And one thing that I'll say before I go in here is, you know, and this is also why I don't like to argue with people. But at the same time, if I really take the spirit of this quote, then it doesn't contradict what I'm saying in this video. And if you follow the Black conscious community, like those like old Black conscious lectures, you might know the quote that I'm about to say. But it's a quote from John Henry Clark, and it says, "I only debate my equals, all others I teach." I only debate my equals, all others I teach. So I have the first part down, where I'm not going to debate you if you, like, I don't debate people who are just on stupid stuff. I no. So I had the first part of that down already. But the second part, and I used to like educate people more, like when I was younger. But I think teach in this respect is not necessarily that, like, oh, I have to, like, you know, educate them and like make them see things my way or whatever. But more so just like they either going to get down or lay down. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you, like, if you're not on my level, you either going to get down or lay down. And that's where I need to come from with it from here on out. So anyway, I'm about to go do errand number 2. I'll be right back. So yeah, I did errands 2 and 3. I just ended up doing them all because, like, they're both kind of like right across the street from each other. But anyway, just to land my plane, honestly, I just kind of watched the end of the last clip, and that was like a nice ending, honestly. But yeah, just to land my plane here, just to reiterate, you know, if this helps anybody or is relatable to anybody, I'll just reiterate the main points, which is don't defer where and when you shouldn't defer and to whom you shouldn't defer. And don't feel like you need to be perfect in order for your opinion or your actions or your anything to be valid. Especially if you like know what you're talking about, you know. So these are things that I guess intellectually I've always known, but in order to like really internalize and reprogram, it's really, really difficult for me, you know, but I really feel like I'm starting to get it, you know. And it's been a long time coming. It's been a long time coming. So I'm not gonna get into like my journey, especially over the last like 2 years, you know, especially in like the last like 2-ish years, have just been like really hellish in my world. Largely, you know, work stuff, but you know, other stuff too. But I'll get it, that's for another video. But like, I've been learning, and like I said, not learning in an intellectual sense, because I know all this intellectually, but like really internalizing a lot of this. And like just that little instance this week with the grad school thing, I feel like something clicked. And then I feel like that was just like the last little, that was like one of the last little pieces to it, because I've been on this road. So anywho, I hope you know, did something during this video, or whether you just like, sometimes I like to just like lie down in the dark and just like chill and listen to these types of videos. So I hope you got something out of it. But anywho, y'all already know who it is and what it is. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace and blessings.